Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
What's up, CURFEWBOYS fans, and welcome to another episode of the CURFEWBOYS. Before we get things started, let me introduce you to my boys. We got Fireman Sam in the house.
Hey now, in a very different setting and
different setting,
environment.
different background, different environment. Where are you at, Sam? Tell everybody where you're at.
So right now, I just decided to take a little. Well, my better half is down south with family and friends for her best friend's wedding, and I couldn't go because I couldn't take the time off for the entire week. So I decided to take just a little solo hiking trip. For those of you that are des Québécois comme nous autres, I'm in a small town called Tadoussac, which is a very, very popular town for like very northern eastern part of Quebec. Very, very famous for its whale watching expeditions, I guess, or adventures. So, but there's a couple of nice hiking spots in this area too. So, hanging out at the hotel now. It's a bit of a gray day today. It's like misty rain, like cloudy day. It was a bit crappy weather, but it's okay. I'll make the best of it.
Nothing different here in Montreal, Laval. So
I know.
we had summer last week, and now we went back to close to winter weather here. But that's Montreal for you.
Yeah, that's Canada in general, especially Quebec.
Well, Sammy, enjoy the rest of your trip. Enjoy the hiking.
And thanks,
to all listeners out there, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. If you like our beautiful faces, you can subscribe to our channel. It's free on YouTube, the CURFEWBOYS. If you like what you hear, all our podcast episodes are on any podcast platform you like to listen to, such as Apple Music, Spotify, Google, and like I said, any podcast platform you like to listen to. And Sammy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I would like to thank our sponsors before we get things started.
Good idea.
It's postseason. It's postseason. It's we're a bit on the how do you say it, Sam? We're very rusty. We're very rusty. It's postseason. The Habs are not playing, so it's okay. Let's get into it. Let's thank our sponsors. I want to thank Habs Cave, guys. Sunil is a great guy in the Habs community. Follow him at Habs Cave. All the best Habs memorabilia you can see on his platforms on Instagram. He's a great guy, good guy to know. He supports the community. He knows a lot of people, fundraisers, charities, you name it. This guy just loves to help everybody. So follow Sunil. Great content and great guy to get to know. We got Mike's Barbecue Rubs. He's a Canadian company based out of Montreal, Quebec that sells barbecue rubs, sauces, and kettle-cooked chips. All of their products are proudly made and packed in Canada. They can be used on all types of meats, vegetables, and even fish. Their chips, amazing. They're kettle-cooked in Canada, and they're only company in Canada who is using their own barbecue rub as a seasoning for their chips. Great product. Check it out. You can follow them on social media pages such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, now known as X. All their products are available to purchase on their website, www.mikesbarbecuerub.com, and they also ship all across Canada. So again, www.mikesbarbecuerub.com. You'll see that on our caption in this episode when we post it on Instagram. And always don't forget to rub your
meat.
We also want to thank our other sponsors, Les Délaiciers Lafrenière. Some of the best pastries in Montreal, cakes, cannolis, and our favorite Zeppelis, especially during the month of March. They have 6 locations, including Rosemere, Brossard, Saint-Julie, Montreal West, Pointe Claire, and of course our hometown, St. Leo. Visit lesdelaiciers.com. They are simply delicious. Again, we'll have their social media page and their website on our caption below. So check them out. Thank you to all our sponsors.
Yeah, big thank you for sure.
Sam, this is their year. Let's say it again. This is their year. Wait, say it one more time. It is not their year, ladies and gentlemen.
How is this? I listen. Okay, so as the Habs fan, we laugh at them because they're called the Laughs, But so that's the Habs side of me, but the hockey side of me just doesn't understand. And I don't know how that fan base could keep going, but they deserve it because their arrogance and their cockiness, they get humbled year after year after year. And I'm not talking about the players of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm talking about the fans. Not all of them. There's a lot of humble fans out there. We, on our platforms, either Instagram or even on YouTube, we've gotten many comments from Maple Leafs fans saying, "Hey, man, congratulations on the Montreal Canadiens. You guys are doing it right. You're doing this rebuild properly. You have studs on your team that are up and coming. We've gotten those. Believe it or not, we really do. But unfortunately, those ones stay hidden in the shadows, and it's like anything else within our society. It's the loud ones, it's the annoying ones, it's the most vocal ones, and it's the that are more present. And with that fan base, it's just the arrogance of going again and again. This is our year. This is our year. Like the definition of insanity. Do they not know what it is? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Listen, I truly believe we're going to dive into it, but with the upcoming free agencies of Mitch Marner and John Tavares, uh, I if you want to call it a godsend that their contracts are coming to an end, and maybe that's the perfect time to, you got to cut your losses and let go and use whatever money you can save in your salary cap to pick up maybe not. I'm not saying pick up a superstar or definitely a good player to replace him, Mitch Marner or John Tavares, if that's the direction they want to go. But they got to bring in different character levels because this is not a playoff team. They
No.
are not mentally strong enough to get through these games, to get through these game sevens, especially these game sevens. It's an embarrassment. It doesn't make sense how the Montreal Canadiens take away the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. It doesn't make sense that the Montreal Canadiens have more series round victories, even if it's just one. In 2021, we won 3 rounds. It doesn't make sense that we won more rounds than the Maple Leafs since maybe dating back to 2004 or something.
It's
It doesn't make sense. But as a Habs fan, I'm laughing.
oh
The
so
Buffalo Sabres have won more rounds than the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the
look,
Buffalo Sabres haven't made the playoffs in like almost 15 years. It's
look.
hilarious.
As a
It's
Habs
hilarious.
fan, that's my reaction.
Exactly.
But as an NHL fan, because I'll put my hatred aside and I'm like that. I'm gonna speak the
We
truth
have
and
to.
say
We have
what
to
I have
talk
to
about
say.
it. We
Well,
don't
be
always
honest
have to be
here.
biased. Totally.
Every year they say it's their year, and look, on paper, yes, every year since 2019 or whatever it was, since they
Well,
been
before like their rebuild started when like 2013 they drafted. I think it was 2013. It was the Galchenyuk year. They ended up drafting Morgan Riley. Then they got the first overall, and I want to go 2015. But I'm getting mixed up with Matthews and
But let's
Connor
go to
McDavid. But
2019. Let's go to 2019. I think since then you can say every year. I mean, look, the years that they've been very
yeah,
good in the season.
yeah, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander were
Nylander.
now made their name in the league, and then they bring in. I think that was the final year of John Tavares. I think they bring him in that year or the season after that, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every year you can say on paper they had a strong team. Um,
Mhm.
and every year you can. I mean, look, hatred aside, you can say it's their year because on paper these guys are, especially not just on paper, but a seasoned team. They were great all
Mhm.
season
Yeah.
long. They
Yeah.
they, they showed the world that these guys are they're not here to fuck around. But then come
Mhm.
playoffs, they fucking choke. That,
Big
perfect.
time.
The year that they choked with the Boston Bruins, that was the year. Since that year, I believe the Toronto Maple Leafs on paper could have easily won a Stanley Cup at least once in that era.
Damn.
Okay,
Damn.
believe
Okay.
it or not. And every year it's a laughing matter where we say this is their year and then they choke. This is their year, they choke. This is their year, they choke. But believe it or not, this year they looked a little bit more scary than usual.
Yeah,
And
I could admit that. Yes.
and starting this round 2, up 2-0 series, it kind of looked
Yeah.
like, holy shit, they're gonna do it.
Hmm.
Especially that Florida is banged up. Florida is
Yeah.
banged up. As much as I want to see Florida in the finals, I do not see them winning against Carolina.
Oh,
I
it's
think
gonna
they
be
will.
tough, man.
I think they will, but it's going to be
Yeah.
very tough. Again,
Hmm.
because Carolina, I think they're very healthy and relaxed. I mean, one
Hmm.
back-to-back playoffs rounds winning in Game 5. I mean, they're just very well relaxed and probably the least banged up team in the playoffs. But time will tell. We'll see what kind of character Florida has, and they have a really strong
Yeah.
character, and I believe
Oh my
character
God.
wins your cup.
Big
But
time.
we'll get to that conversation later. Toronto kind of showed signs that they could have won this series. And when Florida came back 2-2 and then took the lead 3-2, Florida had to win last game, the one before, okay, Game 6.
Yeah, when they lost at home.
Losing Game 6 at home, that was like the hockey gods gave it to Toronto Maple Leafs on a platter. Here. You're going back home. You
know.
managed to win Game 6 in Florida when they were up 3-2
And
series
and the shutout too.
and a shutout. You're going back home to your fans who've been waiting forever to get you to see you in round 3. This is your chance. Again, you said it before. It's insanity that these fans. I do not know what happened to this team. Again, we've said it so many times. Character is very important in a playoff team. And that's one thing. You can give the best players in the world in the Toronto Maple Leafs jersey all you want. They simply don't have the character to win it as a group in the playoffs. You saw Mitch Marner yesterday screaming at everybody. And
Oh
not
my
only
God! But
that,
there's no way he's coming back from that. There's no way in
there's
hell.
no way of coming back. He's done. After last night, he's done. You saw it in his face. You saw it in the fans booing him. He's not coming back. I wouldn't even want to go back. But that being said, again, what they're missing in this Toronto Maple Leaf team, if the Montreal Canadiens can go to the Stanley Cup Finals with fucking nobody, all right, goes to show how much character brought the 2021 team to the Stanley Cup Finals. How much
they had
wanted it.
character leadership from Carey Price and Shea Weber. It started there, and
But
then you
that's
add
what
in Corey
Toronto
Perry.
is missing. There are a bunch of hotheads playing on a team, bunch of skilled talent. They just do not know how to play with each other. I don't think they're friends and brothers in the fucking dressing room. I think they fucking despise each other. I don't believe this bullshit that they're brothers. When Matthews got asked the question, "Oh, do you see Marner coming back next?" "Oh, he's my brother." "Fuck you, he's my brother." You guys, no.
Well, did you see? I didn't hear this part, but apparently said there were passengers on the team, and I get he's the captain, but like, is he calling out some of the players suddenly? Now, again, this was reported. I saw it on Twitter. I didn't see the interview. I didn't hear the interview, but apparently he called. He said somewhere along the lines that maybe the reason why we lost is because we had some passengers on the team, and
believe it or not, if you're calling passengers like Domi and Pacioretty, they probably played better than the Marners and the Matthews.
We're the only ones. Like, listen, I love Austin Matthews' talent. I hate that he's a Toronto Maple Leaf, but I love his talent. But dude, as a captain, if you're gonna call out players and say they're passengers on your team, it starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look yourself in the mirror and said, listen, unless he said that, again, I didn't hear it or watch it, but if he's saying there's passengers on the team, but he didn't call himself out as the top guy because he only got like one goal in this series, and I get he's really trying to play a 200-foot game and be a lot more defensively responsible. But buddy, like you scored 60 goals at one point. Like you could, you know what I mean? You're the one that has to be leading this team, if not in points, at least in goals.
100%. And speaking of character, back to the character conversation. Look, again, this is coming out of not a half fan, because I'm going to say a lot of bad shit if I want, but I'm going to speak as a normal hockey fan or a bystander on the road just looking from the outside. Toronto Maple Leafs fans, you're a disgrace. And I'm not saying that as a Habs
Yeah.
fan. As a Habs fan, I'll say, yeah, fuck you, I hate you. But put aside the hatred as a Habs fan,
Oh man,
they're a disgrace of a
brutal.
fan base. Why? Okay.
How many jerseys did they throw on the ice? How many
Your
cans of
team
beer?
has been winning season hockey for the last, and I know you're frustrated. I get it. You're frustrated. It's always the same ending. I get it. But your team gave you good hockey for 82 fucking games.
Mhm.
Brought the last year Stanley Cup finalists, champions, sorry, to Game 7. Your
Yeah.
team gave you a great season, brought you to a Game 7 in round 2. There was still hope of winning it, and you leave in the second period and start throwing jerseys?
Both games though.
Both games.
Game 5
Like,
and game
fuck,
7.
man, this is your team that you follow. I get it, you're frustrated. I get it, you're disappointed. I've been frustrated and annoyed since '93, and I'm not throwing my fucking jersey on the ice. I'm still
Paying
at
too
the
much
end
money for it.
clapping, you know, and not for anything. If I spend all that money to go watch a game, and a Game 7, a team who I love and adore so much brought this to Game 7, I'm staying till the end so I can fucking give you a standing ovation of what a great year you gave me. To leave round 2 and start throwing jerseys, you're a fucking disgrace. I'm sorry, but you don't deserve to call yourself Toronto fans. And losing game 5 and booing your fucking players, and then what? You call us Habs fans bipolar fans? No, we show respect and love for our team. You're booing your team on game 5. You win game 6, and now you're fucking happy that your team won. And then what? You go again, you lose game 7, and now you're pissed again? No, pick a fucking lane. Either be a fan or get the fuck out. It's a disgrace to see jerseys being thrown on the ice.
Yeah, I
don't
don't
other fan base
understand.
do that. I have not seen any other fan base. And you know what?
I think Ottawa fans sometimes do that. I think I've seen maybe Ottawa, but yeah,
do you
there's
see
there
Buffalo, who
there
hasn't
ain't
made the playoffs since who knows when, throwing
there's
jerseys?
no,
No,
there's
they
nobody
haven't.
there's nobody in the arena to begin with.
True, but
No, but
just to say, like,
I and again, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm one of those fans. Like I could be upset, pissed off, and frustrated, but I would never throw my jersey on the ice.
no.
Two, I would stay to the end. Like I've always been one of those fans. But I mean, look, I get it. On the flip side, game 5, them leaving in the second period before the second period even finishes. But man, what an embarrassing performance though by the Leafs.
Mhm.
And listen, it's again, I'm gonna try to speak as just as a regular hockey fan too. You can't do that. You can't come out perform like that. You know what? You want to say you came out flat foot in game 5, but then you shut out the Panthers in their building game 6. Okay, fine. You kind of got away with it. Game 7, you're at home. This is the moment you dream of almost, besides game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And you go and you play that way. The Florida Panthers, they're built for the playoffs, and they got no panic in their game, man. Paul Maurice as the coach, no panic in his game. You bring in Brad Marchand, who's the Toronto Maple Leaf killer in the playoffs. He's got like what, five wins now in game 7s versus one team. He made history with that. I believe like 5 times he wins against the Toronto Maple Leafs in a game 7, or at least in an elimination game. I think it's one or the other. You know what I mean? And it's time. It was time for other guys to step up, especially on defense. Seth Jones, like where the heck did that come from? He was always a good defenseman, but he came on this team he came trade deadline, great trade as a depth defenseman. Same thing for Brad Marchand. It's the depth guys that got it done. Barkov was amazing. Carter Verhaeghe, man, he was pressuring the zone. Sam Reinhart, he does what he does. Sam Bennett as well. Like there was no panic in their game. What's game 7? Full control, at least in the first half of the first period. Full control in their zone, just circling the puck, controlling it, circling it. Definitely, they tired out their guys. But at one point, I'll give the Leafs credit. Like when Florida's defenseman got a little too aggressive, started pinching, there was at least 3-4 breakaways that Florida had. That Toronto had. But Bobrovsky, he didn't like his game 6. You knew he was going to come out strong in game 7. That's what he did. I think once he made those key saves, like that was it. It was over. It was over. And slightly off topic, but still regarding that game, I have to congratulate the referees of that game. That was one of the most cleanest playoff hockey games I think I've ever seen. Just one penalty, which was too many men, and it was obvious. No high sticking, no delay of game. Like the referees, they let the boys play last night. Game 7, I have to congratulate the referees, but congratulate at least both teams to, mind you, it was all Florida. Like Toronto couldn't do anything, but congratulations to the refs for they had a bad rap in like this whole Stanley Cup playoffs. For once, they let the boys play,
Yeah.
and it was a good game from start to finish. At least it was for Florida. But this was the weirdest thing about this series was Toronto wins the first 2 games at home, then Florida wins the next 2 games at home, but then all home games were lost.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
It's so exactly like momentum. It's like shifted. But again, one last thing, because I feel like we just spoke 18 minutes on the Toronto Maple Leafs, which I want to like gag in my mouth here. But like Toronto, I'm sorry, but we can say it so many times, but they're chokers. It is what it is, because
Yeah, they are.
it's not like they lost. It's not like they lost. You know, they come to round 2 and they lost in game 5. You know, like you had the lead.
Yeah,
You know,
2-0. Oh my God,
2-0.
it's so true.
You
2-0
go
lead.
lose it. You go lose it. 3 in a row, you lose. All right.
Yeah.
You go to Florida, like I said before, and win it. Get a shutout and win it. You're going back home with the highest momentum ever in a playoff fucking game. Again, the hockey gods put this win on a platter. I said it yesterday morning. Toronto's winning it. Toronto is winning it.
yeah.
I didn't want to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Like it sucked that I said it, but I'm the type of fan. I'm gonna, speak the truth and whatever. But I'm sorry, but any betting man would put the house on Toronto winning this game, because you don't you lose game 5, right? You
Get
come back
embarrassed.
games. You got embarrassed in game 5, not just
Yeah.
lose. You got embarrassed, meaning Florida was going back home with that high momentum, and then they threw it away, right?
Yeah.
You fucking win away, get a shutout, shut the fucking Panthers up, and say, you know what, you beat me last night, 2 nights ago, you destroyed us 7-0, you embarrassed me at home. Well, you know what? Fuck you. And now I'm gonna take this home and I'm gonna win it.
And they couldn't even do that.
Any
Yeah.
betting man would have chose Toronto to win last night. And not only that, let's say it would have been a great game back and forth and losing in overtime. Then you know what? They fought their hardest and whatever. No, they didn't even show up to game 7.
No,
That's
nothing.
what's fucking mind blowing here. You don't even like. You have the momentum on your side. You're at home. All your fans are fucking cheering. They want you to win. You know you're gonna win it, and you don't even show up to play. You don't show up to play. Maybe when it was 3-1, there was a bit of hope for like 5 seconds. Then Florida just shut them down right away. The fourth goal just ended it. The fourth goal
they deflated.
They deflated everybody.
Deflated the entire city. But again, it was just no panic in their game. To me, like William Nylander.
They didn't want it. They didn't want it, and they don't. They're not a group of guys. Again, Montreal in 2021. I'm biggest Habs fan here, but they didn't, on paper, they were not even close to a Stanley Cup team. Probably not even, besides Carey Price, they didn't have a playoff fucking team. Okay?
Yeah.
Now you can say it was a COVID season and they played Canadian teams and all that bullshit, whatever, but fuck, man, they wanted it.
They wanted it badly.
That dressing room, they said, we're going to win. We're going to prove everybody wrong. We're going to win it for Weber and Price, and we're going to get it to the finals. And they did that with like 0 to none talent. You know
I'm still convinced. And it's that 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs that just it ruined everything for that core 4. It exposed them. Mm-hmm. It really exposed them. Now, mind you, Tavares got a very brutal injury, an accidental one, and so he couldn't play that series. But it just that I maybe I'm saying it because I'm biased and I'm wearing this I'm wearing the crest here, but that Stanley Cup playoffs just expose these this Toronto Maple Leafs team, and as frauds. That's what they are.
They're
They're a bunch
frauds.
of frauds. Yeah, they beat a Tampa Bay Lightning round one. Maybe a playoffs. The one after that one was 20 either the no in 2024 or no, excuse me, no, it was in 2023. Yeah, because Tampa Bay went back to the finals again and lost to Colorado. But dude, like
No,
even the way they
this
lost to
is.
Boston last year too in round one, like it's
They need to
you knew.
revamp the team. They need to this off season is a wake up call for this team, and I think they have to start over. I think they have to start over, or
I can't see Marner coming back, and if Tavares wants to come back, he's gonna have to take a major pay cut.
yeah,
Like we're talking major pay cut. I don't see Mitch Marner. I don't see Mitch Marner getting over 10 million. Then they gotta sign Matthew Nice. That's a restricted free agent. Who, hey, Jeff Gordon hinted that maybe teams are gonna go a little bit more to the offer sheet way because the cap is going up, and some teams were able to do it, like the St. Louis Blues. But I'm just saying,
you never know.
maybe
You never know.
you never know. But
No. Enough with the fucking Leafs.
no, but I just want to point out it has to do with the Canadiens regarding that division. Is that so far we're really liking what we're seeing. The job that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon are doing rebuilding this team. But again, I reiterate this: they got to make sure they're building a team, yes, to compete for multiple years, contend for Stanley Cup. They got to make sure that they can beat the Florida Panthers, they can beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was only by the skin of our teeth we made the playoffs. So for sure, it was Washington that was first place. So we didn't play a team within our division. But if it's definitely going to come down to, once again, like we could face anybody, but they got to make sure they can build a team, a playoff team, the way either Florida's built or something similar.
So what Montreal like?
It's important. You see it.
100% important, and we said it before. Like Toronto has the talent and the skill, but they're missing the character. Like you can say it all. I can say it 1,000 times. They just don't know
They
how
have
to
no.
mesh
I
together.
don't.
They don't have that.
I don't think they have a good culture base
There you go.
established.
They don't have the culture, but they have the team. They don't have the culture, and I think culture is very important of winning games. You can have the talent in the world.
We could put culture and character together. I believe in that
Yeah,
too.
exactly. So I think that's what Toronto is missing, and you know what? I'll say it. If maybe there is an issue with the team, and maybe taking one guy out like Mitch Marner and replacing him with someone else, maybe they'll win next year. Who knows, right? Hope not, but let's say it's a possibility,
Yeah.
right? So they're missing that culture. The Montreal Canadiens, I believe, have the culture starting and built and brewing properly. They have the character. They have the guys who want to play. They showed it this year. How they just
They
went on
play
a
for each
bottom
other, man.
team. They played
My
for each
God, they
other.
play for each other.
They're just
They're actually a
missing.
family. Yeah.
They're just missing the full puzzle
The full puzzle, the full picture, like you
the full
said the
picture
last episode.
of size and a bit
Yeah.
more talent. But again,
Yeah.
we have the talent. They're just young with no experience. Put
Yeah.
these guys in their prime. We have the talent.
We're gonna get something special for. I believe so.
Exactly. So I think we already. You had said this before we started this episode that you want to talk about, is this team going the right direction or not? And I think this is a perfect time to talk about it. Like I said, you look at teams like Florida who are built for playoff hockey, and I know they're fully banged up. They look it, but they're still winning games. Why? Because they have the size, they have the talent, they have the culture.
No, they
3
have
seasons in a row.
they Brad Marchand can't he says, like, I can't express enough how unified this team is. They're literally one together. Like, this team plays for each other. Them too. It's very, very similar to, I guess, what we see in Montreal with that Florida team, except they're like you said, they're big, they're talented, and they're experienced. Hey man, it's two playoffs in a row. They go to the Stanley Cup Finals, lost one, win another. Like, it goes a long way. And like I mentioned before, when you bring in Brad Marchand, a Stanley Cup champion, and you bring in Seth Jones, good defenseman, as their depth pieces, fuck, man.
But
Yeah,
look,
but if they are banged up, it could be an issue, though. I
if
believe
they
that.
go to the finals this year, All right.
3 years in a row.
That's 3 years in a row in the Stanley Cup Finals, winning
Yeah.
one, potentially two. You have it all. You have it all.
But this is the thing. It's that how did the Toronto Maple Leafs not take it? You know how much hockey this team played in the past 2 years, including and then you're adding in this one. That's a lot of hockey, and the Toronto Maple Leafs couldn't take advantage of that. That's a lot
Exactly.
of hockey.
That's
And
where
what
your
what?
character and culture
Yeah,
come into play, Sam. Because again,
yeah.
you can have it all, but if you're missing that portion of it to push to look, I believe the 2021 Stanley Cup Finals, what we were missing was potentially the fans, you know, because if we
Oh
would
my
have
God,
full
we were
stadium there,
yeah
you never know. That could have
yeah
been
we
that
were
extra
robbed.
push.
Oh, we
So,
were robbed. Anyways, not gonna get into
but
that,
just for
but yeah,
saying these
yeah,
little things can make a whole big difference in the playoffs because a playoff is a whole new season, right?
yeah. Of course.
Forget about what you have
So
on paper. It's all about character, how much you want it. Do you have your fan there helping you? Are you playing for something? Are you playing with for each other? Wow. So the
yeah,
Florida Panthers, I think, have the like the perfect team. 3 years in a row
yeah,
going to the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, we'll see what happens this year, this playoffs. So
yeah.
Montreal Canadiens, are they going the right
Yeah.
direction? I think they have a good chunk ready for the
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Cup. They're just missing again experience,
The miss and seasoning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and which that experience will bloom out the talent that these players have because we see the
yeah.
talent, they're just not experienced. So that, and if you add size, then you're getting a Florida Panthers. You're getting the Florida
Mm-hmm.
Panthers way.
Yeah,
Toronto's
size and
missing that.
grit for sure. Yeah.
So
Oh, for sure. You know what? Speaking of the Florida Panthers now that they're going to be playing against the Carolina Hurricanes, and you mentioned they're a well-rested team now. They should. It's fucking, they only get, it seems like the Panthers are only going to have a day off and then boom, it's right back at it, conference finals. I think this is going to game 7, but Carolina is they're just a fast team, man. They're a fast team. Some might say they have a bit of that boring style, but they're fast, man. But if Florida really lays a smackdown and like keep hitting the way they hit Toronto, which they did, I think they could wear them down. But it's going to come down to it. Always comes down to the goalies, like we say. Even the series between Ottinger and Hellebuck, the Dallas and the Jets, which we're going to get into in not too long from now. But I think that's going to 7. I see Carolina winning it because I do think Florida's a little bit more banged up than we think,
well, the only advantage that
especially
Carolina
yeah.
has right now is how relaxed they are, but that could be a disadvantage too, right?
Yeah,
Because
it could
now
be because
Florida's coming
Florida
into the
might
momentum.
yeah, no,
They're just having
exactly.
one day off because the series starts tomorrow. Carolina's been just chilling at the hotel or home for the last 2 weeks,
They've been watching these games for sure, but no, that's gonna be an interesting series. Like I like both teams. Like I like Rob Brindamore as a coach. I it's no, it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna go to 7, and again, we might be surprised too though. But we were treated with another excellent Game 7 matchup between Dallas and Winnipeg. My God, that could have gone either way. That game could have gone either way.
Yeah.
That series, well, I mean, mind you, Dallas did win it in 6, but instead of 7, excuse me. But I, I'm gonna have to give a shout out to Mark Scheifele and his family, and we're definitely gonna send our condolences to his family for the loss of his dad. And what I mean, like it's God, I can only imagine what it's like for just anybody getting news that you lost a parent and then you got to go perform in whatever job you're doing, right? Now imagine being an athlete and having to perform at the top level. And he ended up scoring a goal, which probably made it special up until he gets a tripping call, which many people will agree with. Like he has to try to make a play to stop what's his name going on a breakaway. But even as the referee, it's like, do you call a penalty shot? Do you call a penalty? So that game could have gone either way. If Appleton shoots a second earlier or a second later, maybe Jake Ottinger doesn't make that save and that puck goes in. But just honestly, That was a great game. That was a great series too, man. That was a battle. That was a battle, and just Dallas was just a bit of the better team. Them two on paper, they got a great thing going. I kind of like Dallas a lot. I like Wyatt Johnson. I always like the Miro Heiskanen. I always like Jamie Benn. I know not a lot of people like him too, but just back to Mark Scheifele. Like I know Habs fans, some of us might still not like him because of the hit he did on Jake Evans and that speaking of the 2021 playoffs, like yeah, and rightfully so. None of us like that hit. I did not like that hit either. But I mean, the some things are bigger than sports. This is his dad had nothing to do with this, so our hearts still go out to him. And that handshake line, like everybody was hugging him, even Jamie Benn hugging him, and like the game before he punched him. Next game, he's at the end of the game, like he's hugging him, and for sure he's telling him, "Look, man, you're a heck of a warrior. Condolences, all that. Like that's the beauty about hockey and the NHL is that like you go to battle, you hate your rivals, you hate your opponents, and even after you beat them or you lose, you still you shake hands, you look them in the eye and say,
There's a
"Yo,
lot of
man, great
respect in the
series."
sport. There's a lot of
There
respect in the sport.
really is. Like, there's no other like I know basketball shakes hands. I know Super Bowl. They all meet the coaches too, the quarterbacks and all that. But there's a lot more outsiders that get involved in that. Where in hockey, it's the players and the coaches one by one, one by one. There's no media. There's no and I get it. Not everybody can run on ice because a lot of people are going to slip and break their heads. But there's nothing better than the NHL and that tradition of shaking hands one player at a time. You make that line, and I just saw the video of Greg DeBoer, or Pete DeBoer, excuse me. Like, I'm getting mixed up with Greg Berube here. Pete DeBoer, like he actually went up, like he goes Shifley. He's like, "Hey man, like so sorry, my condolences. Your dad would be proud and all that." Like it's touching a bit, man. But that series too, like congratulations to the Dallas Stars. They got the team, man. They
Look,
got the team. But this series going against the Oilers, I don't know. I don't
it's
know
up.
what's gonna
The
happen.
series is okay. So my take on this is, look, my bracket is pretty close. I came really
Yeah,
far with it. I'm just now wrong with the final four. I'm 3 out of 4. Dallas
yeah,
Stars. I didn't see them coming this far. I thought Winnipeg was going to the finals. Okay.
yeah. A lot of people,
Against
but a lot of people did. A lot of people put Winnipeg in the finals. Yeah,
Winnipeg
absolutely.
against Florida, right? But now the way I've been watching Dallas after them beating Colorado the way they did, and
Hmm.
then Rantanen just fucking flipping the
Oh,
switch and
he's
becoming the player he
insane.
is.
He's insane. He's so
To
good.
me, right now, if I had to change my whole bracket around, I'd say Dallas to the finals. But like you said, a team like the Edmonton Oilers, the way they're playing, that turnaround, they start off really bad, like to the point
Yeah,
where I thought LA was gonna take it and forget
you
it.
mean
Like,
Winnipeg?
sorry,
Uh, you mean you said L.A.?
LA.
Oh,
Thought
LA
I'm talking about
against
Edmonton. So
Edmonton.
yeah, so
Yeah,
Edmonton
same,
started off.
same. I really did. Yeah, sorry,
Edmonton
sorry about
started
that.
off like, who are these guys? Why are they here? LA is taking it, but then they did that goalie switch, and it changed that whole momentum. It's always, again, see, going
It's the
going back
weirdest
in
thing.
history, there's always that goalie switch that puts your run, it continues the run, and
It's
after
it's called the Cam Ward
the
effect
Cam Ward effect, Pittsburgh did it with
with
Jerry.
no with Murray and Matt Murray and Marc Andre Fleury.
So,
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
seen it
that's
so many
true.
times happen. And now what worries me, not worries me, but I again, as an NHL fan watching the sport and watching how every team is playing, I think right now, looking at it that way, is Dallas versus Carolina. I think Dallas is going to go to the finals because they're playing
Oh,
great
okay.
hockey, and
Yeah.
Carolina, because of how healthy I believe they are and how relaxed they are, they're going
So
to the
you think
finals.
Dallas? So you're saying
If I
Dallas
were
is
to
beating
change my
Edmonton Oilers?
if I were to change my bracket now based on that aspect, I know I'm a lot of
Okay.
scenarios, Joey. If you're listening to this, I'm a scenario Anthony, but based on how they're playing, It's Dallas Carolina finals. But then you go look at the other side of things where, that goalie momentum, Edmonton just playing good hockey after that switch.
But they made the switch again back to Stuart Skinner, and then they won, and then they
But
beat
that's the thing.
Vegas.
So it's like the series
It's
is up
so
in the
weird.
air for Dallas and Edmonton. I think it's just it can go either way. But I think Dallas
That's
is right now. Dallas is just on that. When you start that stride, and I think Dallas is just going home with it.
I think that series is going to 7. I think both series are going to 7, and I'm taking Dallas in 7. Like Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, you know what you're going to get from them, but everybody else needs to follow. But on the flip side, Dallas, they're going to start needing something from players like Jason Robertson and, maybe your depth players like Sege and Jamie Benn as well, because like Matt Duchene too. He's got to start scoring. Like those guys need to start producing. Yeah, you get a Sam Steele that's scoring your goals, but your top 6 has to start performing. If they don't, the Dallas Stars risk of pulling off the exact same thing that the Toronto Maple Leafs did. So it same can be said for both teams, but like you're going to get everything out of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. It's everybody else. It's the depth players that need to do their job as well, right? So obviously Dallas has the upper edge on, I think, both the goaltending. I want to give Dallas a bit more of the upper hand on defense. This Thomas Harley kid, man, he's amazing. He really is. And like ever since the Four Nations tournament, saw him play, is like we don't really get to see much of Dallas Stars games, let alone games in the Western Conference. But this Thomas Harley kid, man, like he's amazing. He's amazing. And you got Miro Heiskanen back, but like if Jason Robertson and guys like Matthew Duchene Matt Duchene can start scoring goals, I think Edmonton's going to be in trouble. It's going to them too. Is it Stuart Skinner? Is it Picard again? Like for sure they're going with Skinner, but he's got to play on his head because this Dallas team is not stopping, and that series takes place Wednesday night, so that's going to be exciting. That's going to be very, very, very exciting. This conference finals is going to be another great round. I truly, truly believe so.
I think the Florida Carolina is a little bit of the boring side. I think Dallas Edmonton is going to be a good game. I think it's also a rematch from when was it? 2 years ago or three? It's a rematch,
Man,
no?
in the late '90s, those Dallas Stars versus the Edmonton Oilers series, when Curtis Joseph was the goalie and Mike Modano was their star player for Dallas at that time, like those were amazing. Those were some awesome hockey games, man.
No,
Those playoffs, the late '90s.
I like Dallas. I see them, but it's gonna be again. I think this year's playoffs from start till now has been great hockey. I think the Final Four is a bit of I don't know, Florida Carolina.
It is. It is what it is.
I'll be in Florida in 2 days, and I'm gonna be there for Game 2 for Florida Carolina, and I was even contemplating on buying tickets to go watch this game.
Oh, you should.
I don't know. It's not. It's not an enticing like I don't know like.
It's going to be a good series.
If it was Florida, Toronto, I'd be like, holy shit, I'm gonna fucking spend every dollar I have for this game. But Carolina, Florida, I don't have that the will to go watch this game. I'll see.
I don't know.
It might be last minute decision, but
I think you should. If you have that opportunity, tickets probably won't be as expensive as. Like I'm encouraging you to go. I think it's still gonna be a great series. I think they're gonna give some good hockey games.
You know what it is though? Okay. So another reason why it's holding me back not to go, coming from watching a game, round 1, game 1 Habs, in that atmosphere and that insanity.
For sure.
And then I've been to Florida to watch a game already, and the fan base there is a bit like, no disrespect, but like you have one of the best teams in the NHL, and you're just boring fucking fans. So that's another thing, you know what I mean? Like they're not, they don't. Like,
but it's a Stanley Cup. But it's a Stanley Cup playoffs. That's why. It's a Stanley Cup playoffs. But no, I hear you. But no, I'm definitely excited to be watching these games. But I kind of want to go back to this. Will tie into you saying like how the Canadiens are rebuilding this team right now. The way the Laval Rocket are playing in their playoff run is actually very, very encouraging for some key pieces that will get, I think, will get experience at least at the pro level what it's like to fight for something, let alone a playoff victory. So, like when you're seeing guys like Logan Mailloux playing well, is popping, he's scoring goals off the point on these power plays. He's ripping his shot and he's making a case for himself that hey, maybe he could be the defenseman on the second power play for the Canadiens if he makes a team. You're seeing David Reinbacher play well. You're seeing Owen Beck playing a 200-foot game. Florian Jackey's playing well, and then the veterans too. Like everybody's playing well. We even have once again a goalie debate between Caden Primo and Jacob Fowler. Like everyone's like, put in Primo. Why? Put in Fowler. Why isn't Fowler playing? They put in Primo. Primo wins. Then game two, they put in Fowler. Everybody's happy, and they ended up losing. Now, granted, it wasn't Jacob Fowler's fault, not one bit. Just the guys in front of him didn't play. They probably thought this game would have been a bit too easy, especially after the way they won game one. Like they were losing, they fought back multiple times and they got the victory. But I mean, Wednesday night they come back to their home team, to their home crowd in Laval. So it's very, very encouraging. I once again, I can't repeat this enough. I'm encouraging everybody to watch these Laval playoff games. You're literally watching some of the future key pieces that are going to be part of the final picture, the final puzzle that Anthony says, and that's like that hopefully will one day bring us to the promised land and not do what the Toronto Maple Leafs failed to do. Like seriously, we all wish we had the talent of of an Austin Matthews on our team and all that, but at the end of the day, these are players that help you get to the playoffs, but they're not players that help you get through the playoffs. So
That's a good saying
it
there.
well, but it's true though, and we could end it on like this whole Mitch Marner thing. Ugh. But he's that type of player. He could help you get. Look, he's 100-point player. He's done it. He's an excellent regular season hockey
But hold
player.
on.
He disappears during the playoffs.
Okay, but
Why?
hold on. And I had this debate with someone yesterday. Okay,
Mhm.
you said it right, and that's a perfect saying. We should, put it in our Curfew Boys and copyright it. You have players
Yeah,
who
we
can bring you
should.
to the playoffs, but not through the playoffs. I like that a lot. So just copyright that shit. It's a Curfew Boys saying, Sammy.
I'll take
But
it.
speaking of Marner, I don't think he's that player you're describing as brings you to the playoffs, but not through. Why am I saying that? I think he's a player
Mm.
that just needs a new scenery.
Yeah.
Okay, because we've witnessed it live at the Four
Hmm.
Nations, what he
Yep.
brought to Team Canada during an important game, and
Yep.
with different players and different scenery. So I'm sorry, but I think Mitch Marner in a new team next year could be that player like Rantanen potentially, who leaves Colorado, goes to Dallas and wins it this year.
Well, he
I
went
see
to Carolina. Can you imagine? Don't forget, he got traded to Carolina. Carolina couldn't resign him, fucked up, and then send it to Dallas. Can you imagine? So you said we have a Dallas Carolina
That'd be
finals,
crazy. I mean,
like
that's my
Rant,
new. Yeah,
like Rantanen, and let's say Dallas wins. So Rantanen beat Colorado in round one, and then he's going to beat Carolina. Stanley Cup. If that happens, that's bananas. I'm
yeah.
going to go bananas just thinking of it. You know who Mitch Marner is? I'll tell you who Mitch Marner is. And it was another Toronto Maple Leafs player that was brought to the team because he could be that savior. Mitch Marner is another version of Phil Kessel. And I'll explain. Phil Kessel was brought to Toronto to be the best player, the savior, him and Dion Phaneuf. Remember
Yeah.
when Brian Burke brought them? Phil Kessel couldn't play in a Toronto Maple Leafs market. Phil Kessel was unable to be the best player of that team. What happens after? He gets traded to Pittsburgh, is considered maybe the third best player after Sidney Crosby and Geno Malkin. Duh. Wins back-to-back Stanley Cups with them. That's what I think Mitch Marner needs. Mitch Marner, you said it. He played well in the Four Nations. Why? Was he the best player in this Four Nations team?
Why was he the best
Definitely.
player?
No, was Mitch Marner the best player on that Team Canada of the Four
Not
Nations?
the best player, but he helped. I think
He helped, but that's my point. He definitely wasn't the best player ahead of Sidney Crosby. Definitely not ahead of Connor McDavid, and definitely not ahead of a Nathan McKinnon. Is he arguably the fourth best player? Yeah, maybe, probably. And look how well he played, and he set up the game winner. So my point is, Mitch Marner needs to go to a team where he might not be considered the best player on the team. And you could argue, well, he's up there. Well, Austin Matthews is the best player of the team. Yeah, but they came as as a dual package, right? They like it's he needs to go where there's a player or at least another one that's better than him. However, salary demands are not going to say that. The salary demands are going to be like, no, he is the best player on this team because he's for sure going to try to get 11, 12, maybe even 13 million. Does a team go fucking crazy and pay him that? I don't know. I don't think so, but we'll see. But I think Mitch Marner needs, like you said, a change of scenery and needs to go to a team where he's not the go-to guy just yet.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
We'll see where
But
he goes. I don't see him coming to Montreal, even though it'd be nice.
no,
But
no,
I don't
no.
think he fits the. I don't think he fits. Not even the culture, but he's small, and I think we have too many small players in the team.
But I think he could. I really think Mitch Marner's he does care. I won't.
No, you saw it yesterday. He has a lot of emotion. It goes to show that
he
could
does.
be a guy that can help.
I'm okay with yelling at your team or at your teammates to wake up, but man, something told me that's like, dude, like if somebody needs to wake up, it's you too, dude. You know what I mean? Like if he was performing and yelling at your guys, "Hey, wake up!" I could get it, but and I'm not saying what he did was bad, but when you're part of the problem too of why your team's not winning,
yeah, I agree. Good
so
statement there.
but like I don't think he would make a bad fit in Montreal, but yeah, he's small and just his playoff record doesn't show that he could help us just yet. During the season, yeah, sure. He could probably put up 100 points if he were to play with Ivan Demidov or Uras or whoever, obviously, or with Nick Suzuki on the power play. Anyways, I just don't think it's going to happen. The Canadiens can't afford him anyways. The Canadiens will never be able to meet his demands. So I'm going to end this episode on this. This was the sign from the hockey gods, folks, that the Maple Leafs were going to lose. What was the final score of the game? Of Game 7? Okay, so 6-1. So the Leafs let in 6 goals, right? 6 plus 1 equals
7.
When's the last time? So 6-7. When's the last time?
Yeah.
Say it. I'm just saying.
Just saying. All I have to say is the Leafs suck, and I'm happy they choked.
Leafs suck, man. You guys, we need Chris to come back and reveal loser since '67 or whatever Leafs suck T-shirt that he had from last year. Oh my god,
I can love it. Look, I'm a happy man today because from the way I saw yesterday of knowing I thought they were gonna win it. I really got
scared. I got scared too. I don't want to admit it, but I got scared. I was like,
and if they win, they would have went to the finals. I'm sorry, but they would have unleashed that fucking monster and go to the finals. Yeah, I don't know if they would have won against Dallas, but what I was really hoping for, I'm gonna say this one last time. It's so fucking.
No, you're not gonna say this. No, I know exactly what you're gonna say.
But I wish if they had to win, I would have loved to see them go to the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7, overtime, and lose. Oh, how beautiful would that be?
Yeah, but against who?
I don't care. But imagine going to the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7, overtime, and lose. That's a perfect ending of a Toronto Maple Leafs not winning the Stanley Cup. You're right there. You're fucking there.
Oh my god!
Take it away. Fuck you. Anyways,
I would have puked. Anyways, all right, cool. I'm good to go with that.
To all listeners out there, thanks for listening and all your love and support. Keep listening to us. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And if you like to see our beautiful faces, you can subscribe to our channel. It's free on YouTube. Share this with your friends and family members and whoever you know. We want to hear your feedback. It's the only way to make us better and give you better content. Guys, you can listen to us on any podcast platform such as Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, any podcast platform you like to listen to. Guys, don't hesitate to ask us questions on Instagram. We're always there to just
Take part of
communicate
the
with you guys.
conversation.
We
Yep.
like to take
Yep.
part of the conversation. We love doing this. We love talking Habs, NHL hockey. We're there. Thanks to all our sponsors, Mike Rubs, Delicier Lafrene, and Habs Cave. Guys, give them a
Yep.
follow.
Big thank you.
Great support.
On Instagram. Yep.
And enjoy round 3. We'll talk to you maybe
Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, Florida versus Carolina. Wednesday night, it's Dallas versus Edmonton, and Game 3, Laval Rocket versus Rochester. Back at Platts Bell, we got to root for our boys. Check them out.
I'm excited. I'm loving watching hockey, but I'm excited for it to end because I cannot wait for this off season for the Montreal Canadiens. But until then,
oh my God, the draft.
Yeah, drum roll. Until then,
yep.
Bye
now.
Ooh.